Hello, welcome. I am Savallion, a software dev / creative, and today we're doing a game review, or let's play kind of deal, of a little game called Dome Keeper. I'm going to play through one full small map normal difficulty run, so if you don't want to see how that run ends, maybe don't watch this or stop before the end or something, because I am going to play it all the way through. So Dome Keeper is a game about digging and finding and keeping a dome. Very simple, just a nice tight little set of features that all really worked well together, I think. I'm not usually a fan of pixel art, so it's interesting that I picked up on this game. I really like it. I think it looks nice. So maybe I'm coming around. Maybe I'm coming around to the pixel art. I don't know. Premise is that you descend onto a planet inside of a dome, you land on the ground, and in Relic Hunt mode, which is like the normal mode, your task is to mine the ground underneath until you find a relic. And this is another game that has roguelike qualities, so each run you get some random gadgets, and then you can spend resources to upgrade different things. Periodically, monsters will attack in waves, so there's another feature that I am a big fan of. So you have to balance whether you want to upgrade your dome, your defenses, your gadgets, your mining gear, all these different things. You have a lot of options on how you play this game. So I'm going to play through a small map on Relic Hunt mode. There's a prestige mode that is kind of the end game right now, where you basically mine as long as you can mine, and then you either die or you leave the planet by spending a bunch of resources. And you send back resources to get little modifiers to boost your score. And that mode has a leaderboard, but it is a higher difficulty by default to kind of make the leaderboard so you can compare between different people. You're all playing on the same difficulty, and it's a bit harder. So you start with a randomized color scheme. The one I got for this video is not my favorite, but they do a little bit of randomization in the visuals, the background, the colors, so I think that's very nice. It's a nice little touch that just makes things a little bit different every time you play. You can mine just by running into the blocks, and you can see I could pick whatever direction I want to go in down here. At some point you do meet a wall, a hard edge that you can't mine, and those are the bounds of this size of map. Once you get some resources, there's three. There's squares are iron, circles are water, and triangles are cobalt. You can start using them to upgrade things. And you do this by going to your little computer and going into the upgrade menu. At the top you have general upgrades, so you can add a bar that tells you when the next attack is. You can view your inventory, current wave number, different things like that. You can also upgrade your character, the mining power, jetpack speed, carry capacity, and then you can upgrade your dome weapon and any gadgets that you have. So I picked the laser for the dome, and then the main gadget that I got for this run is the shield. And so I can make the shield stronger, give it a little electric blast attack, things like that. And I'm going to unlock the enemy wave meter. I feel like this one is very important so that you don't die. And then I'm also going to increase my carry weight because I like to get some early mining in and get the mining going really early so that I can upgrade other things later. When it's time for a battle, either the little bar will run out, or if you don't have the bar, there will be a little like alarm, like doot 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 doot, and enemies start arriving. You can move your dome weapon along the top of the dome and then trigger whatever attack it has. The laser and sword each work a little bit differently, but these general controls are pretty much the same. The battles start very easy, and then each round they get a little bit harder. So I'm still learning the pro strats for combat and also for just general strategy. I haven't played a ton of this game, but I have played a bit and I'm liking it. But I like to start with mining upgrades first, like I said, and then defensive upgrades a little bit later. Digging out every third row and skipping 2 rows is kind of the meta as far as I could tell. This is because you can see things on the edge of a block, you don't have to mine it to see what's in it. So by mining out and only leaving a space of 2, you can see either side of it and know that you're not missing anything. I've also seen people use another strategy where they dig out the easiest blocks instead. So you can see on the blocks themselves, they have a little pattern. The less busy patterns, like the pattern with the most black in it, is the easier block to break. And then it does scale a bit with the different like strata. As you go down into your mine, there are different colors of blocks, and each color has its own sort of base difficulty. So a block on the very top that looks easy is going to be easier than a block like 3 layers down that also looks easy, if that makes sense. I like the every 3rd row strategy. There are some gadgets that make it more or less useful to do things this way. Like there's the probe you can use to sort of send out a radar for loot. And if you have that, you obviously don't need to dig out every row because you could see where things are. So it does change a little bit based on what you've got. You do have to change your strategy a little bit, but I prefer this every 3rd row in most runs just because I like to be able to see that I'm sort of clearing things out as I go downward. At some point you will find a gadget you can bring back to unlock something. You get a choice. There's 2 gadget options and then a 3rd option to scrap it for cobalt, which cobalt is the only way to reliably heal. There's a couple of other upgrades that may heal you, they have a chance to heal you, or they heal you only once. The option to shred it into cobalt is really for when you're desperate, you need heals bad, and I've definitely used this before. So I picked the lift. The lift is like an automatic elevator. There's these orbs on it, they go down to the bottom. On their way up, they can grab up to 3 pieces of loot and bring them all the way up and turn them in for you. So this is just a way to automate moving resources up into the dome. And then you can also upgrade it so that when you fly upward, it's faster. So I like that as well. If I would have to give one pro tip to beginners in Dome Keeper, it is make sure you get into your dome before the battle starts, because if enemies get into your space and start attacking and you're still down in the mines, it can kill you. It can be really, really brutal, and it can be hard to measure how much time you have with the little bar. So if I'm ever uncertain, I like to err on the side of caution and just wait a little bit. If I lose some mining time, it's not the best, but it's better than not being here when the enemies start attacking. And a lot of the middle of this game is just kind of a repetition of go down to the mine, do your mining, maybe make some upgrades, bring everything back up, prepare for the next battle. So I'm not gonna sit through all of this. I'm just gonna speed it up a little bit and let you sort of watch the flow of this game as I make my way to the next sort of milestone. For my second gadget, I got an option, and the options included Drillbert. Drillbert is a little guy. He's like a little, I don't know, a raptor or something, and he loves to dig. There are a lot of conflicting opinions about Drillbert as far as I could tell. Some people don't think he's as useful as other gadgets, but I think he's too cute to pass up. And automating digging, while it's not as flashy as some of the other gadgets, I think it's really useful, especially as the digging gets harder and maybe you don't want to spend, you know, your iron on upgrading your drill. And here I actually stopped the recording to do some laundry, and I forgot that I had gotten Drillbert until the next round, so he stays he stays in his little pod for a bit. But to use Drillbert, you can just carry him around like anything else. You do have to long press the carry button to get him, because the short press, or just like a one press, it just flips him around once he's on the ground. So you drop him, you can flip him to face the way you want him to go, and he will just keep digging in that direction until he hits a wall, and he cannot continue when there's a wall unless you upgrade him to turn around. He does fall asleep sometimes, you have to go wake him up, and he can be upgraded just like any of the other gadgets, so there's a couple little upgrades to make him stronger, faster, make him work longer before falling asleep, and things like that. And around this point, I started to really take some serious damage in some of these fights. So I shifted to focus on improving my weapon and my shield. Once I upgraded the laser a bit, things did get much easier. I was a little bit worried I was going to fail this run that I was recording, but it turned out okay. Even though the fights were easier, I did have a hard time finding the relic. So I believe on the small maps there's 2 gadgets and just 2, and then you find the relic. I could be wrong and they could change it in the future, you know, whatever, but in my experience there's always 2 gadgets, and then at some point beneath them you find the relic. Once I did find it, it was actually Drillbert. Drillbert found the first piece of the relic, and each relic has these little nodes that you have to activate in order to open up the relic tile, so you just interact with them. And then they are connected to the main relic by these little wires. So if you haven't found that part yet, you can sort of triangulate its position by following wires of the little nodes that you found. And once you find the relic, you're not like totally done. You have to dig it out, and it's kind of big. Depending on which map size you're playing on, the medium relics are bigger. Not to like carry, they're just bigger to dig out, and they have more nodes on them. So the trick is to make sure you can stay alive long enough to actually excavate it. And once you have the relic, it starts a really exciting like final wave. It's a big onslaught of monsters to sort of ring in the end of the run. I don't actually know if you can win this. I've never seen anyone win it. It looks like it's designed to be overwhelming because right when all seems lost, the relic saves the day. So that's the end of a Relic Hunt run in Domekeeper. You get this nice little stat screen. You can see, you know, how long you lived, how much digging you did, and sometimes you'll also unlock things for future runs. This is how you get the sword dome and some of the other starting gadgets. And right now this is basically the whole game. There are some larger maps, harder difficulties. If you get lucky, you could find an egg in the mine, and that hatches like a little vanity pet. And there are also some updates coming. So they've announced a new type of keeper called the Assessor. So there are updates coming for the game. It's not totally finished yet, and so that's exciting. I think this is just a nice game. I love games with a cycle like this where you sort of repeat getting a little bit more difficult each time. I like how it creates the structure of what you can expect, but then there's still some things that might surprise you within that, you know, that expected repetition. The music and the sounds in this game are very relaxing. It's all very calm. Very calm. You have the like clink 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 of the digging, which is a sound that I find very, I don't know, it's just nice. Like blacksmithing noises. And like, even though it's a game with combat and time limits, it's a little bit intense sometimes, I find it weirdly meditative. Like it's just a nice game to chill out and play and just dig and find. Then you also have prestige mode, which introduces a little bit more of a grind, a little bit more min-maxing. So if you do want something that's a little bit more of a challenge, you can check that out. There's a little something for everybody. So that's all for this little Let's Play review of Dome Keeper. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a prestige run. Since prestige runs can get longer if you do well, it'll probably be trimmed down for length, but I'd be excited to see what score I can get. I haven't done super well so far, but I haven't put that much time into the game, so maybe with a bit of practice I could get a really beefy prestige run out. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, smash subscribe. I'll be back soon with another video, and I hope to see you there. Bye bye.